Hello. We're going to talk about two advanced teacher options for KTouch. You may have noticed when we went up to training that there is an option called Open Plain Text File and an option called Edit Lecture. What those allow you to do is to create typing files for the students to practice. We're going to talk about those two options now. And we're going to start with the option called Open Plain Text. When we click that option, it will open up a window that asks us to select practice text. So I'm going to show you first how to create some practice text and save it in a file. So in my documents, I've already started creating a file called Sample Text, and I've been creating this in LibreOffice. And so what I have here is some sample text that I've been texting, 4 different sentences, and I can add another one, the cow and the pig ate their dinner.
So now we'll see,
and we can add as many sentences as we want, and these are the sentences then that will scroll across the screen for the students to type. And I would suggest after each sentence, or after some amount of text, that you be sure to hit the Enter key, and on the screen when the students are typing, that will show the end of the line where they have to enter hit the Enter key. So just so the sentences don't get to be too long. So let's hit the Enter key, and let's add one more. The chicken
the delete button
ate some corn for
so now I can
begin
to type my level data.
Okay. So I'm going to save that
so I'm just going to type
as a LibreOffice file.
A, B,
now one other thing that we have to do is save it now as something called a text file or a .txt file. And this is very easy to do in LibreOffice Writer.
Maybe I want to
we go up to File and we
like
do
that.
Save As.
Okay. Now you'll see when
so
I typed
it will be
in
called
new
Sample
characters
Text.
level.
We're going to save it in my documents with the differences under all
so
formats.
the first thing in this list
we're going to look
here
for
represents
the
level
option that says .txt.
Now I want to add a level
text
2 that has
so
the
I'm going to
letters
click that,
C, D.
and I'm going to click
To add
Save.
a level, I can come down here below this window
Now
and I can
LibreOffice
click the
asks me,
green
are you
plus
sure
sign.
you want to do that? And I'm
When
going
I
to
do
say
that,
yes.
it adds a
Please
second
use
line here,
text
which
format.
represents my second level.
So I click Use
So
Text
I'm going to
Format,
click on that,
and
when
now
I
it's
do
created
that, you'll
a
see
file
it says
called
over here
Sample
now,
Text
data of
.txt.
level 2. And it asks the new characters
So now we
in this
have
level.
our sample text.
Now I'm not going to do
and
all
let's
of
go
those
back
characters.
to
I'm
KTouch
just going
and
to
try
do
to
C
open
and
that.
D. So I'm going to
So I'll go to the
come
Start
over here
menu,
and backspace and eliminate
Education,
all of those extra characters
and then
just
KTouch.
type CD. Okay. And again, I come
So
down
now
to
we go
where
up
my
again
level
to
data
training,
is,
and we're going
and
to
I
open
can
plain
type a
text
lesson
file.
that involves the characters.
When we do it this time, what we're going to see in our documents is that
you can do
sample
however much you want.
.txt file that we just created. So I'm going to click that and
so
open.
on.
And so
And
now
again, if I want to add my final level with characters E and F,
shown
which
for the
is what
students
I want
to
my
type.
lesson to be about, I just click plus, and again, a third level shows up. Now you should always remember when you add a level, you need to be sure to click it in order to go to level 3.
Just like we set it up.
And you'll be able to see that because it will tell you what level you're working on. So we're going to go ahead and type E and F. And I'm going to add a little bit more here again for my lesson.
And
you'll notice, just like before, the students get statistics about and I can make a second line
correctness.
so on.
So this
now,
is a way that
suppose I decided that
you want
this was not in the correct order. Maybe I want to do EF first, then CD, then AB. That's very easy to do by using these blue arrows down here. So I can click on, for example, EF, and if I want to move it up to the top of the list, I can just click that blue arrow.
Now you'll see,
and it will move it
all of that,
up.
It will go back to the
and each time I want to make a move, I have to click on it. And maybe I want CD to be above AB, so I can click like that. So in that way, using the blue arrows, I can reorder my information here. And remember, I can always add another level like that. Now suppose I decide I really don't want to add a fourth level, so I can click on that fourth level and I can click the minus sign, and that removes that level. Now I encourage you to be careful with using that, because when you click it, everything will be gone that you entered for that level. Now that's okay for my level 4 because I haven't added anything yet, but I'm going to click the minus sign. Oops, it actually deleted the wrong thing. Well, so I'm going to add AB. So the point here is to be very careful when using the minus sign. That's the point. I encourage you not to do it, in fact, because it will permanently delete what you've typed. So we're going to add more back in. So that's a good lesson there. Not one I wanted to show you, but just be careful using the minus sign. Now when you're finished, you can click Save. And we come down here to the button that looks like a disk, and we click Save. Now, it will ask you where you want to save it, and it will first go to your documents. So we're going to save this in My Documents, and I'm going to call this Test Lecture. And I'm going to save it in my files. Okay, so we've now saved our test lecture in My Documents. So I'm going to close this. And now we're going to open this lecture and have the student do it. So let's go up to Training, and we're going to go to Open Lecture. So now we need to navigate to My Documents. So I'm going to click on Documents, and there's my lecture, and I'm going to select that and click Open, and there it is, ready for the student to use. And if you'll remember, our level 1 was EF, and you'll notice now that that arrow here is very dark. It's lit up, which means we can choose it. So we can choose the different levels that we put in. And we can go up and down, and the student then can practice the lesson that you created in all 3 levels. So this is a nice way to build different levels of skill with the student the way you like. So you can either use the built-in lectures that we talked about in the first lecture on KTouch, or you can create your own, either the plain text option or through editing the lecture and creating a new lecture. Before I close, I want to mention one other thing. The next time we open up KTouch for this teacher account, when we go up to Training and to open a lecture, we're going to see that it goes to Lecture instead of My Documents. But you should know that if it ever comes back to My Documents and you can't figure out where these lectures are, you have to remember something called a path name. It means you need to go to File System, then you need to go to USR, which stands for User, then click on Share, then click on KDE4, then click on Apps, then click on KTouch and then Lecture, and then you'll see English. So I know that's a little bit hard to remember, so I'm going to open up a file that shows you that. Here's what we call the path name again. It's USR Share KDE4 Apps KTouch Lecture and then English. So that's where the KTouch lectures are. And you can write that down into your system administration manual, and that will be in the user's manual also. So that's the end of our discussion about creating KTouch resources to help your students practice. I hope you enjoy using KTouch in your classes and that your students can really learn a lot about touch typing. Thank you for listening.